Hello, my name is Denzel Dascanio, and I will be showing you my budget project. So, in part one, the professor asked us or just a few questions, just to get a general scope, so we would be able to calculate things later on. So, the first question was asking what year it was and what point of am I in my life. So I just decided to say it's 2025, a reasonable time to be just completing college and starting up a family. Um, the type of job I would like to have would obviously be pertaining to my degree. So I'm going to school to be an electrical and computer engineer. So I would like to work with Google in the electrical and computer engineering field and somewhere in Atlanta because it's at home. And I'll also have a few links like this in green everywhere just so you would know where I got my sites from if you want to visit them. Uh, where I would live would be somewhere in the Atlanta area, somewhere next to my job. So I decided to pick just some sort of house that looked nice with a reasonable cost. It costs about $325,000, which I'll use in my calculations later. The type of car I want to drive would be a 2021 Lexus LC 500 model. Obviously, in 2025, it would be 4 years old. So this price may change, but how it's listed right now would be $92,950. For my family, at least starting out in 2025, I plan to have my wife and either a son or a daughter. And uh, as of other income in the house, I'm willing to just be the only provider if my wife wants to help me with the business, or if she wants to make any extra money or something, she can, but she wouldn't have to. So if she did, I would just have to add her calculations inside of my budget and stuff. But for simplicity, I would just like to put down the amount of money that I make for the budget. Um, how many years I'm away from retiring would be about 35 years. I would say at age 60 would be a good time, 60 to 65. So I decided to say 60. So 35 years into the future would be my retirement age. And I plan to put about 10% into my retirement income. Um, Lifestyle expenses, I would like to travel the world and just have fun, like playing sports or playing games and stuff like that. So traveling the world would definitely cost a bit. Playing sports might cost something, depending on if I want to be like in some sort of league or if I just want to play with my friends or something. Obviously, one's going to cost, the other one's free. Um, Video games, I would probably want to play just because I like playing video games, so it might just be another thing I can add to the hobby. So the second part would be the calculations. So what I have here, so I currently work at Georgia Highlands as a tutor. So I decided to leave those calculations in for like somewhere around the money that I do make now, just because I do like working here at Georgia Highlands as a tutor. So if I do decide to stay, uh, this would contribute to the calculations. But for just the Google, so I did separate them. For the Google salary, so when I say lowest part of the range right here, $110,000 was the least amount of money that an engineer at Google would make. So I just went with the worst case scenario. And that's in Atlanta. Other areas would vary this amount. So monthly salary would be $9,166.67 a month. So you just take that value and you divide it by 12. Every single time I get my monthly salary and it comes from my annual salary, I'm just dividing that number by 12. Um, Commission and all those extra bonuses and stuff like that that you wanted us to list, there actually were a few for Google. So for commission, it was, and these are all numbers that they gave to me, so there was no range or anything. So what they gave to me from the site was that it's about $1,094 in commission. In bonuses, there's actually two different bonuses. There's cash bonuses and there's stock bonuses. So the cash bonus is 15,560, and the stock is 34,783, and I just added those two together to get the total. And what I did was I took that ratio of how much I would have total from the bonuses with how much I would make, and it turns out that it's actually 45.777 ish percent of the amount of money that I'll make per year, which is almost time and a half. For tips, I would make about $109 profit sharing, which is just like another form of, or falling under the category with stocks and bonds and stuff like that. That would be $1,313. So my possible salary would be how much I make per year plus all of those additional things like the commission and bonuses and stuff. So that's what you see in red is everything that I'm adding to my annual salary, but I put it in red because I don't want to include it inside of my calculations just in case for like a worst case scenario. If I don't get this sum right here all the time, I would still be making the $110,000 a year. And then for Georgia Highlands, I am part-time. It's a part-time position to be a tutor. So I just put down some sort of salary that I was kind of making. So you can see right here the yearly salary, and I just divided by 12 to get the monthly salary. So we don't make any commission or bonuses or tips or anything like that. So the total salary would then be how much I make from Georgia Highlands and Google, which would just be the sum of these two numbers, which is $114,472.44, and then divided by 12. And how much I make per month would be $9,539.37. For retirement, I plan to save about 10% for retirement, and assuming I make 7% per year, I would use these two numbers for my calculations. So 10% of this value would be $11,447.24 each year, and then I turned it into months so that you could see later on in my Excel sheet how much I make per, or how much I would save per month into putting into retirements. It will take me 35 years to retire. So what I do is I put it into the formula where I can find out how much money I would have after the 35 years. And so this would be the formula, and I just plugged everything in where I have the principal amount, the 10% that I put in, and 1 plus the rate at which I hope to gain, raised to the amount of time, and then minus 1, and then all divided by the rate again. And this number turns out to be about 1.5, 1.6-ish million dollars, which sounds like a lot, but it makes sense because if I am to make about 6 figures, it makes sense to have a retirement income of about 1.5, 1.6-ish million dollars. For health insurance costs, those usually cost about $96 per person. And because it's split between me and my wife, it'll be multiplied by 2, and it'll be $192 per month. Dental costs is a lot cheaper. It's $20 per person, so multiplying that by 2, I would have $40 per month. So it would be $192 and the $40 I will be paying for health and dental insurance combined. So about $232. For taxes and FICA, there was actually a really cool breakdown of how this was from the site. So what I did was I actually had the option to select the files as joint or as married. So that's what I went ahead and did. So all of these calculations are including my wife and my whole family. So the taxes paid would be 16.29%. 4.6% of that is from the state and 11.7% from federal. So what I did was I took the percentage as a decimal and multiplied that to how much I make per month, and that would come out to $1,554 coming out of my paycheck. But there's also, you have to take into consideration FICA, which is 7.65%, 6.2% from Social Security, and 1.45% from Medicare. So what I did was I added those two percentages and put them as a decimal, multiplied to how much I make again per month, and that's $730. And my take home salary would be basically how much I'm supposed to make minus this, or minus the 1554 and minus the 730. Another way of writing that is 100% of the salary minus the difference in the other percentages taken out. So I would subtract the 16.29% and the 7.65%, and that would mean that I would take home about 3/4 of my paycheck. So my monthly salary would be, again, the $9,539.37 multiplied to the percentage, and I would get $7,255.64 as a net amount for my check, just from taxes being taken out. For any other payroll deductions, I decided to include life insurance just because life insurance is actually really important, especially when you have a family. So typically, because I would be a younger person, my life insurance would be a lot less than most people's. So it would hover around the $80 range. Sometimes it can get as low as $50 and stuff like that, but I decided to go a little bit higher and just say $80 a month. For my car payment, so I was showing you earlier that my car costs $92,950. So to break this down, I used the 4.63 percentage rate, which was given from the site, and I decided that I wanted to pay it off in 60 months or 5 years. So, and I also added a little note here where it does make sense that as the price increases for the type of car that you have and stuff, uh, for them not to take so much money away from you, it makes sense to decrease the rate. So this number is a little bit lower than the example that we had. For monthly payment, this would be the formula, and I just plugged everything in where I have the rate divided by 12, which will get the rate per month, multiplied to the principal amount, which is the 92,950, and then divided by 1 minus 1 plus the rate divided by 12 again, raised to the negative 12 times 5 years. And that means that I would pay $1,738, and so about $1,738 per month is how much I would pay. For insurance, for auto insurance, it would usually be about $150 is the general idea of the car insurance that they pay, or that you pay for cars. And I looked through a couple sites just to double check that number, and they were always hovering about 150, so I used that number. Um, I was also, yeah, and I also used the example of Allstate where I looked at how much annually it costs, and I divided it by 12 to find that it costs $152.83 monthly, which is very close to the $150. So because it's very close and it just confirms what I decided to put down, I just kept the $150. And just to keep it simple, instead of having uh, all of the cents, like 83 cents included and stuff, I rather just put the $150. Sometimes it can go up, sometimes it can go down, but generally it's about that much. And I also put a side note that it's above the $120 marker, which was also what they were giving me a lot of, because there are, as the price of the car increases, uh, the annual payments for insurance will also increase. So because mine is a little bit more expensive, it makes sense that my payments will be more expensive. For gas, uh, so I used 10 miles for my job because it is in Atlanta. Everything is closer to each other. So 10 miles in Atlanta would actually be a good distance just because of traffic and stuff. So I went ahead and went with 10 miles. And I also decided to throw in a little bit of extra driving. Driving to go out with my family to the movies, to go out to eat, stuff like that. So I decided to add about an extra 10 miles per month on average. Sometimes it may be a little bit more than that, but I decided to add 10 miles on average for miscellaneous driving. Uh, I would drive to work 5 times a week for 4 weeks in a month. So that means I would drive for 20 miles a day, 100 miles per week, or 400 miles a month. What I did was I just multiplied the 10 miles by 2 to find out how much I'm driving per day, times 5 to find out how much I'm driving per week, and then that number times 4 for how much I'm driving per month. And then what I do is I would add the 10 miles per month from the miscellaneous driving to get 410 miles per month as a total. The car typically gets about 29 miles per gallon. There's a couple other that I was looking at that I might be interested in getting to, where they go all the way down to about 19 miles per gallon. But I went ahead and went with the highest rate of 29 miles per gallon. And what I did was I divided the total mileage by the 29 miles per gallon rate. And I found that I would be using 14.14 gallons per month. Right now, on average, gas is about $2 a gallon, so it would cost 2 times the 14.14, which would be 28.28 or $28.28 per month. In Georgia, because of traffic and stuff like that, it might be closer to like 30, 35 and stuff, but I just went ahead and kept the $28.28 for my calculations. And you'll see that later on in my Excel spreadsheet. For maintenance, typically it would cost $551, or dividing by 12, you would get $592. For taxes and registration, tax is about 6% on the value of the car. At least right now it is. Yearly, you get a $20 registration fee. So you would add the $20 registration fee to the 6% of the value of the car. And 6% of the value of the car is given by this form right here. And it turns out that I'll pay $5,597 a month per year, and dividing that by 12, I'll pay $466.42 per month just for taxes and registration for the car. For the mortgage, again, this is the house that I was looking at. For the mortgage, it says assuming that I put a 20% down payment, I decided to go with the 15-year calculation, and I decided to do that because you would save more money in the long run. So the price of the house was $325,000, and the interest rate I used from the example, which is 3%, and I decided to pay it off in 15 years. So going through the calculations, 20% of that value is $65,000, and the loan amount is equal to the total minus the down payment, and that would give you $260,000. And you would use the monthly payment formula again. So I went ahead and plugged everything in. My rate, which was 3% or 0.03 in decimal, divided by 12 times the loan amount that I would put in, which is $260,000, divided by 1 minus 1 plus rate divided by 12 again, raised to the negative 12 times 15 years. And it turns out I will pay $1,795.52 per month on the house for a mortgage. And as I said earlier, I decided to go with the 15 years because if you look at it, if you was to type in 30 in your calculator, you would find that this value goes down to about 1,000, almost 1,000 flat. But you can see that as time doubles, the value doesn't necessarily cut in half, so you're actually paying a little exponentially more. So for property taxes and homeowners insurance is about $2,636 annually, which is $219.67 per month. And property tax is about $338 annually, which is $278.17 a month. In Atlanta, where they got the property tax rate from, in Atlanta, the rate is usually 1.027% of the home's value. So that's where they got that value from. For maintenance, I went ahead and actually used the 1% rule that the other student, Kiker, actually used, because I tried to click on the link and it actually didn't pop up for some reason for me. So I went ahead and used the 1% rule, which actually sounds pretty reasonable. So 1% of the value of the house is $3,250 a year, and dividing it by 12 is $270.84 a month would be put aside to save for maintenance if anything happened to the house or if I wanted to do something to the house. Electricity and gas. Uh, I actually pay for the electricity at my parents' house, so I know what the payment actually comes out to be, and it's usually about $125 a month. For gas, according to the site, it's about $99.33 per month. The water, sewer, and trash, the smaller things, uh, actually total up to $133.06. Even though they're very small, it still comes up to a good amount. The water cost itself is about $70.39, and the sewer cost is $46, and the trash cost is $16.67 per month. Uh, for the food, I went ahead and went specific with the type of food that I would like to make, just to see what type of food I can make on a budget. So on average, people spend about $312.65 in America, or in Atlanta, sorry. And because I will be paying for my whole family, I multiply that value by three, and I will be paying about $937.95 every month for my family in food. That price can vary sometimes, but as a baseline, that's how much I would pay per month for my family. Uh, I went ahead and I divided that number by 31 to find how much I would pay per day for my family, which would be $30.26. Sometimes you can divide that number by 30, depending on what month it is. But worst case scenario, it's 31 days in a month. So my baseline would be $30.20 a day on food for my family. So knowing how much I would pay per month, I went ahead and came up with a meal of what I can make for $30.26. And I just decided to make one meal at that price. Obviously, I can divide this number by three and find out how much I would have to pay per meal, which would be about $10.09. But I went ahead and just put it in for one meal. So I decided to look up a few ingredients of what would look good as a meal together. So I put a rotisserie chicken, which is about $7, a pack of macaroni, which is about $4.98, a pound of cheese, which is about $5.36, a pound of vegetables, which is $2.67. Cups of juice for the family would be about $2.50 or whatever drink. Plastic utensils would be about 25 cents a day, or $7.75 per month if I buy it as a package. And that would sum up to $30.26. And the calculation for the meal would just be equal to the sum of all of that, which was the $30.26. For clothing, we would mostly be paying for just our children, or at least our one child that we have, because my wife and I would not really be growing anymore. But just to keep it as consistent, and because it will be consistent because we are paying for someone who is still growing, so that's a consistent basis that we can base it off of. So uh, according to the site, it said a family of four will pay about $150 per month. And because I have a family of three, or I'll have a family of three, I'll have to pay 3/4 of that amount per month. So that would be $112.50 per month for my family. For communication, if you look up bundles and stuff like that, those are more cheaper than getting them separately. So as a bundle for internet and phones, you would pay about $119.99, or about $120 per month. For technology, I don't usually buy like different things when it comes out immediately, but if it is something nice that I might want to get, I would like to save a little bit of money so I can make sure I have it later on. So I just decided to put $100 aside per month, just in case I would want something that comes out, like the PS5 or something like that. Um, for entertainment, I guess that also falls in line with entertainment. I would like to have fun with my family. I don't want to just go to work. I want to actually have fun with my family. So I want to set aside a larger amount so that we can have fun together. So I decided to put ahead $300 per month on vacations, games, movies, anything like that that my family wants to do. For emergencies, Emergencies are really important, and because they are expensive, you have to put a little bit more per month. So I decided that I want to save about $500 a month for any dramatic cost that happens, like if we have to go to the hospital or anything like that. For any other lifestyle specific things, I said I wanted to travel the world and play sports, or if my child wants to play sports or anything like that. Or if we want to play games. So I just decided that I want to put ahead $200 a month, and it can depend on what it is. Like if it's a hobby or if my family just wants to try it out and it's like a one-time payment. But $200 is the baseline that I decided that I want to put aside. As you can see here, this is my Excel task sheet with my income and my expenses. I already showed you the income part. So over the expenses, I would be paying for all of these things that's in the list, and I'll just go over that. So for my car and the insurance is about $1,883 a month. Uh, for the car itself, it was about $1,738.37. Insurance is about give or take $150, so I just added those two together right here. For gas for the car, it's about $28.28 as we calculated earlier. Electricity is about $125 a month. Water, sewage, trash is about $133.06. The gas for the house is about $99.33. The savings that we put aside for lifestyle and emergencies is about $200 and $500. For food, it was $937.95. For the bundle for the TV and internet and the phone, that would be about $119.99. Tech that I would put aside would be about $400. Clothes would be $112.50. Retirement would be $953.94 put aside. Life insurance would be the 80, health insurance $192, and dental insurance about $40. Mortgage was $1,795.52. To take care of the car, tax and registration and car maintenance comes close to about $500. Property tax on the house was $497.84. Maintenance on the house was about $270.84, and in total, I would be paying about $8,886, almost $8,887 every month in expenses. And per month, I make about $9,539.37. So right down here, the monthly net is showing how much in difference I have. So I am making about $652.41 in addition to how much I have to pay out. So the net amount that I come back home with per month is $652. The running net is just adding every previous value. So the first month I'll have $652 saved up. The second month I'll add another $652. So that would make it $1,304. And then I would add another $652, which would make it $1,957, so on and so forth. And by the end of the year, I would have $7,828.92 left in my bank account, and I can even come up with another budget later on, incorporating this into it, or even saving for expenses and stuff.